Yo, broskies, what up? It's me again, rating and reviewing all the music that you guys sent to me every single week. For this week, we're rating and reviewing the Good Kid, M.A.A.d City album from Kendrick Lamar, submitted to me by one of my brothers. Before I rate and review every single one of the tracks, let's talk about how I do so. I will be rating and reviewing every single track in the album, also giving you my favorite track, my least favorite track, and the overall rating for the album. The main rule that every single one of the tracks must follow before I rate them is that they need to be universal. Everybody knows the saying, music is the universal language. So if at any point I feel like the music violates this principle, then I'm likely going to give it a low rating or like a very poor one. So let's talk about the tiers. We will be rating every single track and placing it on a tier that will rate from banger, maybe banger, good but forgettable songs, songs, bad songs, and then at the bottom is just terrible songs. Now let's get right into the review. For this album specifically, I listened to it a total of 6 times over a couple of several days. I felt like I gave this album a fair shot, and hopefully I don't make too many Kendrick fans too angry. Let's start with the first song, Shireen, aka Master Splinter's daughter. And to me, this song is just It doesn't do anything for you. It's just a nice beat. You can put it in the background. It's not bad. So any song that I give it a rating is just it's elevator music. It's a lo-fi track that you can put at any point, and it kind of grooves. It doesn't take any weird turns. It's just there, and then you can just enjoy it without knowing what you're listening to. That's this song. There's no hook. There's nothing memorable. So the album already starts sort of weak in terms of music, but only in terms of music. Let's talk about the non-music part of this album, which I didn't know I would be rating. But let's talk about it. The song begins with a prayer and it ends with a voicemail that are not part of the song. Well, they're part of the song, but like the length of the song is a 4-minute 30-second song, and there's the beginning and end of it dedicates some seconds to both the prayer and the voicemail. If I had to rate the song based on these voicemails, maybe if I rate the voicemails alone, the voicemails are bangers. I love the voicemail at the end more than the one at the beginning. But that's just the first time that I heard it. I know now that the one at the beginning is something that will come later on in the album. But the one at the end is just a banger every single time. There's just so much personality. I believe it's Kendrick's mom, the one that's talking to him, and I think it's his dad also in the background, or stepdad. I'm not really sure what the relationship is. And I don't think it ever gets explained in the album, but I believe it's his dad. Or father figure. But this voicemail alone is a banger. It's so funny. It kind of puts you in the mood. You understand the culture. You understand where Kendrick is coming from and the people that he has to deal with in his life. So I found it very charming. I found it very entertaining. I found it funny. And I think that the voicemail alone is the only reason I would want to listen to the song, because I'm just vibing just to get to that first voicemail. So yes, and I know that there's a story going on in the album, so we're gonna talk about it as the album progresses. So let's go right to the next song, Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe. Now this song is maybe banger. It's not a banger every single time, but I really like the vibe of the song. I really like the way that, and here's where you hear Kendrick's voice and the way that he raps and the way that he uses his voice is very raspy, high pitch. I am a sinner who's probably gonna sin again. Lord, forgive me. I like the entire song is a vibe. But which is funny, bitch, don't kill my vibe. Yeah, I guess it's just clicking right now as I'm making the video. He has a vibe and he's hoping that nobody kills his vibe. And I'm talking, when he says bitch, don't kill my vibe, I'm assuming he's talking to Shireen, because Shireen is the girl that he's going to see in the first song. So in this one, he's just going for it. I think people have told him that Shireen is that girl that they don't like, that she's just trouble. So I can see why he would be saying, don't kill my vibe. I don't think this song is a banger because it doesn't hit every single time, but it's a great song. And if it comes up, I'm gonna listen to it, but it's just not a banger every single time. It just depends on my vibe as to whether this song is a banger. So in any particular day, it's just not, but maybe every now and then it will be. Again, there's a voicemail at the end of this track, which I believe Kendrick is just getting in the car with his homies, and he's just writing. So overall, maybe banger, which I like it much better than the first song. So far the album has both good tracks. So let's go with the third song, Backseat Freestyle. Now, Backseat Freestyle, it's a banger. Is there a question about it? I mean, it starts so good. It starts with like the chimes. Dun, din, 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 din. Oh, I think it's a voice. With like the chimes and the bells in the background. And then Kendrick comes in with like Martin had a dream. Martin had a dream. Kendrick have a dream. And it's just beautiful. First of all, we all know Martin. He means Martin Luther King Jr. with his famous phrase, I have a dream. But then Kendrick says, Kendrick have a dream. It's subtle, and maybe that's the genius of it. But I think that every single time that like Martin had a dream, Kendrick have a dream, I think it hits every single time. As soon as the song comes on and I hear those words, now I'm like, this is a banger. I'm about to just, if I was in a concert, I would lose my mind. I would be jumping all over the place because it is so freaking good. The fact he compares himself to Martin Luther King, and he's not doing it exactly, he's just saying that he also has a dream, but he's saying that his dream is probably as big as Martin Luther King Jr.'s, and he doesn't say that, it's just implied, and I think that's what makes it so powerful. There's also something that I really like about this track, maybe I'm just the only one that likes it, but when at the beginning, Martin had a dream, Kendrick have a dream, the splashes and banging in the background, boom, boom, and then it drops. I love it every time. For some reason, it tickles my brain in the right way, if that makes sense. Just those little splashes, pan spots, whatever is happening in the background, I just really like it, the way that it drops right into all my life I want money and power, respect my mind or die from lead shower. I pray my dick gets big as the Eiffel Tower so I can, I don't know if I can finish that and not get reported, so I'm not gonna say it, but it's so good every single time. I love this song, Backseat Freestyle. It's a banger. Let's talk about the next song, The Art of Peer Pressure. This song is it's not that good. It's also not a bad song, but this song suffers from the same thing that the first song in the album had, which is there's no hook. It has a nice beat, it has a nice groove to it, but nothing really gets stuck in your head besides the story that Kendrick is telling. And like I said, if I have to pay attention to the lyrics, that means that the song immediately violates the rule that music needs to be universal. If I'm only allowed to enjoy and appreciate the music by learning English, then it is no longer universal. I have to learn a whole new language in order to appreciate it. Some songs, regardless of what they are saying, I can vibe to it. There's an energy around it that is just conveyed through the music. In this case, the energy of this song and the first track is conveyed through what he's saying, and immediately to me it's like, it's not, the music itself is not bad, but nothing elevates it to the next thing. There's no nice melody, there's no nice hook, there's nothing that, I mean, I may be wrong here, but like, I mean, what's the hook of Shireen Master Splinter's daughter, aka Master Splinter's daughter? What is it? Does anybody know? There is no hook. And then here also in this song, The Art of Peer Pressure, there is also no hook. At the end of the song, and this is the part of what makes the album so particular, is that there's another conversation that Kendrick is having with his homies. I feel, and it is implied, that they are in a car, they're getting together, probably smoking some blunts, picking up all the stuff that they're going to be doing for the night, whether it's cigarettes, drugs, alcohol, whatever it is, and they're going to be riding around the city. It's just a couple of friends, and I think we have all been in that situation where we're with friends in the car, just like in a parking lot, just chilling, eating a bunch of junk food, whatever it is that you guys are doing, whatever it is some people are doing. But I feel like when this last conversation shows up at the end of the song, it is very clear in all of our heads what is going on with Kendrick and his friends. And I love that about the album. That's what I was saying. I like it in the, like, if I could, the voicemail or the conversation in particular here is not a banger. It's like a good but forgettable one. And the track is an A. So overall, kinda the album is very interesting for me about everything that's going on so far. If we talk about the music thus far, there have been no bad songs. All of the songs have been good. The first track was A. That doesn't mean it's bad, it's just not memorable. The second track may be banger, then the next one a banger, and the fourth one is also A, which is not bad, it's just there's nothing memorable about it. So let's go to the next track, Money Trees. This song is a banger every single time, and there is something very nice about a 6-minute song. It's over 6 minutes, it's 6 minutes and 26 seconds, and that's a banger. And it is important to note that not every 6-minute song out there is banger. Usually they end up being more on the shorter side of time. But here Kendrick really hit it. I think this is the song, and in the song he mentions that he had sex with Shireen and he went to tell all his bros. So he's not finally got dropped off or whatever it is that he was going to do that night, that they told him don't go see Shireen, and then he still went and did it. And this song keeps a vibe and a certain groove. I go Halle Berry or Hallelujah. I mean, the hook hits every single time. It's not repetitive enough, and it is hard. I feel like sometimes with hip hop, I have the issue that sometimes the songs drag on for so long, and there's nothing about it that is like, I mean, they're good songs, but there's nothing that makes them great. And in this one is not great. This is a banger every single time. This is the best rating I can give to a song, and it's a 6 minute and 26 second song. And every time that it comes in, I'm not gonna skip it. There's no reason to. Just appreciate how good it is. Just a little bit on the lyrics and what the story is saying. There's also the beat, the groove, the melody is just so pleasing to hear and to listen to every single time that it comes on. So this song is just a banger every single time. So 5 songs of the album, 2 songs bangers, 1 maybe banger, and 2 songs. Overall, the album is going in a great direction. I have nothing bad to say about the album. I know maybe you guys think that me saying is bad, but is not bad. It's just not memorable. I would still put it on just to listen and put it in the background. So if I skip it because I think I don't want to listen to it, then that's when we get to the bad territory, because I'm done with that song. And we haven't had that in this album yet, and we're already 5 songs in out of 12. So good. So far, so good. Let's talk about Poetic Justice. Oh, actually, before we talk about the next song, Poetic Justice, the voicemail in this song, I also think it's not a banger, but it's a maybe banger, just the voicemail alone. During the right time and day, I think it could be a banger. As I'm listening to it now, I'm like, oh, today it hits. But it didn't hit every single time. So today is a banger, but overall, maybe banger on the voicemail. Let's talk about it. In the voicemail, Kendrick's mom says to Kendrick, look, just bring the car back. I made another appointment. I figured you weren't gonna make it here on time anyway. And here's where you can see that Kendrick is just, the whole time we've been siding with him. It's like, we can all understand I want to be with my friends. I don't have time to do that. Finally, I get a car. I'm going to go ride with my homies. I'm going to go have sex. I'm going to enjoy myself. And at this point, the voicemail reminds us that there's other people that Kendrick needs to think about. It's been just like an app. Like, I'm hanging out with my friends. I'm going to go have sex. I'm going to go drink some booze. Smoke some drugs, eat some junk food. I'm gonna be enjoying the city. And the voicemail grounds us back where Kendrick's mom also has her own thing going on, and Kendrick is not helping her out. So the more empathetic side, you're like, oh, Kendrick, come on, don't mess it up. You already had your fun. Like, listen to your mom. Like you start feeling bad for Kendrick's mom at this point in the album. And I don't know, it's very interesting. Like, he's not a bad kid. He's a good kid in a mad city. Obviously, I'm understanding the message of the album as I listen to it. But at this point is where Kendrick sort of turns into the bad guy, which is he's not really. He's just having fun. He's just being a kid. And you start empathizing with his mom. So now let's talk about Poetic Justice. This song is good, but forgettable. So I like this song. It has a nice groove. It has a nice vibe. It's just the hook doesn't really do it for me every single time. And I know just how is it? And I know just let me look it up now. And I know just I'm looking at the wrong song. 1 second. And I know just what you want. Poetic justice. Put it in a song. It's not bad. It's just it's good, but forgettable. This is one of the tracks that you know it's in the album, and every time that it comes on, you're like, oh yeah, that's a good song. I just forget it existed. That's this song. Again, it's better than A because I can actually remember the hook. And then also the voicemail at the end of the song is also good, but forgettable. I think they're asking him, you out here for Shireen? So I don't know if this is right after he had sex with Shireen, and they're like kind of egging him on about it. They're just kind of like, there's some banter during the conversation with his friends, and then at some point somebody gets kicked out of the car. I think, to me, it's still just fun. It's light, and like, we all had arguments with our homies, and so like, okay, get out of the car, you're walking home. And you're like, okay. And then you get kicked out, and then you gotta walk home. But it is what it is. That's kind of how it is with the homies. So overall, good song, but forgettable. So far, 6 songs in. We're halfway through the album, 0 bad songs. Everything has been a vibe. Everything has been a banger. the story kind of keeps you engaged. So let's talk about Good Kid. This song is bad. Let's skip it. Next song. I'm just kidding. Let's talk about it. I've been talking about every single song. Usually with bad songs, I just skip right through them and I don't even talk about it. But let's talk about why I think this song is bad. This song, they tried their best to... Obviously, the song is called Good Kid. And I think this is kind of where we realize now Kendrick's picture, where he comes from, kind of what he goes through on a day-to-day life. But musically, it just doesn't hit. Like the hook is mass hallucination, baby, ill education, baby, want to reconnect with your elations. And every time that they do that, want to reconnect with your elations, and I'm like, oh, that's cringe. Skip. I cannot stand that. Like the second, like maybe I can do it the first time it comes in and you're like, oh, but the second time when the hook comes in and I'm like, skip this song. I'm pissed off already. It's just bad. I don't care what Kendrick has to say in this one. I mean, I do care, but it's not the music, the vibe, the melody, everything is just wrong. So I'm like, this is just an immediate skip every time it comes on, regardless of what he's saying. Interestingly enough, Kendrick also doesn't do this song any favors at all, because he doesn't include a voicemail or any conversation at the end of the song. So he's also like, okay, this song, let's put it there because it needs to be part of the album, but that's it. I don't know if he actually did that, but that's how I feel. Because this is the first bad song in the album, and it comes after 6 really great songs. So the 7th, I'll forgive you, Kendrick. This one is okay to put in there if that's what you wanted to tell us, but just the beat and the vibe, I wasn't feeling it. I'm sorry. Let's go on to the next song, Mad City. This song is a banger. If pirates and creeps all got along, they probably got me down by the end of the song. Seemed like the whole city go against me. Every time I'm in the street, I hear yeah, 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 yeah. Great. It's just, it hits so hard every single time. Now there's something particular about this song that we're gonna talk about it in a second. But this song is actually 2 songs into one song, and I'm gonna, because the song does a transition in the middle, so we're gonna talk about it. But this first part of the track is incredible. It hits every single time. The way that Kendrick slowly builds it up into the yak 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 dum 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 dum. It's just, the beat is so good, the voice is so good. I think there's also a guest at the beginning of the song, Man Down. Obviously, I'm not gonna say the word. Where you from? N-word. But every time that it comes on, it's so good. I'm like, God, this song just hits so hard. I don't know. I enjoy listening just to the beginning of the song. Obviously, as the song keeps going on, I really like it. And there's something, now let's talk about what I was saying. The song is split into a different song in the middle of it. And hip hop, a lot of the time they do this on their tracks. I'm not really sure why it is, but it's like the track began in a certain way, and halfway through it, they decided, let's forget about that whole beat, that whole melody, about everything we just said, and we're gonna now change new beat, new melody, new hook. And they do that in this song for some reason. And when it's just not the song, it just happens in a lot of hip hop songs. And it goes into a different like dun 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 dun, and it's a different beat. And then this time we hear Kendrick more agitated. Reality struck. I seen the white car crash, hit the light pole. Like, the way that he says it, he has this particular whining to his voice. and I don't know if that's the right way of saying it, just that's how I describe it. But he's whining through this, and every time that he whines, or I think this is the song where I can feel it the most, is he's angry. He's trying to get a message across, and it's very interesting that he decides to do that with his voice in this whining manner, because obviously whining means like you're weak or you're crying or you're sad, but he's neither of those. He is strong, like he's got anger, he has power behind his voice, that the way that he says those things is just, it sounds so good. It's so pleasing to the ear. It's like so unique too. I don't think I've ever heard anybody just whine into something and assume that that's like the powerful message of the song, that like this is when I'm really angry. So the second half of the song is also a banger. So this is a 2-track that is this is a 1-track divided into 2 tracks, and each of those tracks are a banger, and the song is called m.A.A.d City. This is where the album and the story of the album starts transitioning into something different, and I think he did it on purpose. Obviously, the song before this one was called Good Kid. So up until the Good Kid song, all of the songs have been him chilling with his homies, relaxing, doing all the things he wanted to do and enjoy. And now we're going into m.A.A.d City. So now this track is m.A.A.d City. Good Kid is over. Let's talk about the reality. And the reality is he lives in a m.A.A.d City where a lot of things are going to happen that you didn't exactly understand. And I think that the way that he sings in this song, very agitated, with a lot of energy, like where he's finding certain areas of his neighborhood just dangerous, like, where are you from? Why are you walking around these places? The album just, it becomes a little bit darker. Like the beginning is very light, cheerful, playful. You can almost place yourself in that situation, and here you can place yourself in that situation, but if you haven't lived it, the only thing that you're seeing in your head is what Kendrick is describing, and it sounds really rough. So I really enjoy this track. The both tracks, both parts of the track. Like I said, this is 1 track with actually 2 songs in it. Overall, great. And then at the end of the track, we have the voicemail, which is a good but forgettable voicemail as well, or like an A1, where they're just still relaxing with his homies. Let's talk about the next song, Swimming Pools. Swimming Pools, to me, this is a banger. Every single time, the beat is nice, it's relaxing, it has a nice vibe. Swimming in a pool full of liquor, then you dive in it. I mean, not that I'm wishing to do that, but it just feels like it's late night in a pool and you can see every light is off, but the pool is just full blue. And then if it's full of liquor, then you're just going in it and enjoying the night, and it feels, there's a vibe to it. I really enjoyed this song. It's a banger every single time, and this is also a 5-minute song, and the one before was 5 minutes 50, and the other banger song I think was 3 minutes. I think that's Backseat Freestyle. But then we had Bitch, Don't Kill My Vibe, which was over 6-minute song. So Kendrick, all of his great songs are lasting a significant amount of time compared to what the industry and what pop culture tells us that a good song needs to be, which I enjoy. Any song that doesn't follow the standard, that is still able to be a banger, it's just incredible. The song does have the voicemail at the end, and this voicemail is probably the most, not the most memorable, but definitely the one that gives the most impact. I think the most memorable one is probably the original one with at the beginning with the mom. And I think later on there's another one that I think is also more memorable than this one, but I think this one is pretty good. Top three, which is not a voicemail. It's like a thing that happens. I just call them voicemails. But the scenario that happens at the end of the song is that Kendrick's friend gets shot. He sees somebody, he starts shooting at them, and then they shoot back, and then it's like, okay, Dave, you good? Or is it Dave? And then Dave is dead, like he got shot, and then it's like, they killed my brother. So this is what we were talking about. Good kid, mad city. They're just enjoying themselves, but then these things happen in where they live. With that being said, this voicemail banger, but probably not my favorite voicemail. And again, it's not a voicemail. I just call them voicemails. This scenario that plays out. Let's talk about the next song, "Sing About Me, I'm Dying of Thirst." And this song is time to anger some Kendrick fans, but this song is terrible. I was excited. There's a 12-minute song that is about to happen. And all of the songs thus far that have been lengthy have been really great songs. Now we get to a 12-minute song, and I'm like, is this going to be, Kendrick's masterpiece? And it turned out to be just the complete opposite. This is just the disaster piece. It's terrible. We're gonna break down this song, and I'm gonna tell you why I think this song is so bad. First of all, let's talk about the song. The song does the thing that m.A.A.d did, which is two tracks into one single song. Like somewhere about 7 minutes into the song switches into a different beat, different hook, different melody, everything. So it already has that. And that second half, it's also terrible. It's not that one half is terrible and the other one is okay. They're both terrible back to back. So I don't know. Let's break it down. Let's talk about the hook of the first track. When the light shuts up and it's my turn to settle down, might make a certain promise that you will sing about me. Promise that you will sing about me. He's flat. He's not. Okay. It pisses me off, first of all, that his main concern is that he wants people to sing about him. Yet, he's not singing. He is flat out speaking. My main concern is promise that you will sing about me. And he's flat. The melody has its own chords. Everything is going musically, and he just decided to be flat throughout the entire hook. And every time the hook comes on, regardless of how powerful it is, the stuff that he's saying is just so, to me, I find it extremely annoying that he wants people to sing about him and they're not singing about, and he's not singing, that he's flat. It's like you wanted something, but then you're doing the exact opposite, and you're doing it poorly, and it's pissing me off every single. And I know it's just the hook, but the hook is what you remember about the song. I mean, tell me if you remember the second verse of the song. What's the second verse of "Sing About Me, I'm Dying of Thirst"? Maybe some super Kendrick fan will know it, but I tell you for a fact that you know the hook. And I tell you for a fact that every time the hook comes on, you're thinking Kendrick is flat. And he's also, I think he's dragging. Promise that you will sing about me. Promise that you will sing about me. He's not only flat, but he's also dragging. Do you know the meme from Whiplash? Am I rushing? Am I rushing or am I dragging? Kendrick is dragging, and I think that was done on purpose, so I'm not gonna judge that, but it just piles up into the things about this song that is like, why did you do it like that? And part of me thought, like, in the other songs he had some guests. I thought, well, why didn't you just get a singer to sing the hook? Promise that you will sing about me. Promise that you could have just done that if you wanted people to sing about you. And I'm like, I think he just could have done that and it could have been fixed. And then to my utter discontent, to my utter I don't even know the in order and to top it all off, I think that's what I wanted to say, is that there is a singer after 5 times that he repeats promise that you, I don't know if it's actually 5 times, it'd be funny if it actually is, but on the 5th or 6th time there's actually a singer in the song that comes on saying, promise that you will sing about me forever, promise that you will sing about me forever. So he actually had a singer, and he decided, he's like, no, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to sing the hook, it's going to be me, and I'm going to do it flat, and I'm going to be dragging, and it's going to be out of tune from what the actual beat of the song is and the melody. And I'm like, just, it's terrible. Every single time it comes on, it's terrible. Now that's the first half of the song. Let's talk about the second half, which I mentioned. It is also terrible. So let's talk about it. The second part is Dying of Thirst. Now, halfway through the song, there's also a scenario, voicemail that happens. That is like, I think Kendrick is trying to say like he's gonna go back and try to kill the people that kill his brother. Like he's just pissed off and he's emotional, and you can really feel it in the way that he says it. Like it's like, F it, I'm gonna go back, I don't care. And at this point we enter the second part of the song, which musically it's also just, it's awful. And the reason is the way that Kendrick decided to remind us of the hook of the song. And the hook of the song, you would think that is Dying of Thirst, but that's not the hook. The hook of the song is do you know what I'm talking about? Like dying of thirst, dying of thirst, dying of thirst, dope on the corner, look at the corner, daughter is dead, mother is mourning her. I'm like, it's so annoying to listen to. I am so sorry, Kendrick fans, but I can't stand any rapper just going like that for 5 minutes. I'm like, dude, just shut up. Like, you're dying of thirst. Like, my ears are bleeding. I'm dying of the stroke that I'm having from listening to this track, and it's 12 minutes long, and I had to listen to it 6 times, and every single time, and I'm like, please let this song be over. It's just, it doesn't end, it drags on, it's annoying, he's flat, he's singing, he's not even singing, even though he wants people to sing, and then he actually gets a singer. The whole time there should have been a singer, and I'm like, god damn, like how many things can you pile up wrong in this song into 12 minutes? He decided to do them all. The song does have one caveat that makes it's not part of the song. It's the scenario at the end of the song, which I think is probably the best in the whole album, which is when the lady tells them the prayer, Lord God, I come to you a sinner, and I humbly repent for my sins. I believe that Jesus is Lord. I believe you raised him from the dead. Like that whole thing, it is extremely powerful because they want justice for what happened to his friend, and they understand that they're in a bad place. Actually, I'm not really sure who's talking. Is this the people that kill his friend, or this is Kendrick saying this prayer? Now I'm getting myself confused. Sorry, there's so much information in this album, and it's hard to figure out who's coming from. I'm assuming that the whole time is coming from Kendrick's point of view. So I'm assuming that here's where Kendrick has been running, trying to kill the person that killed his homie. and he's running, like he's tired of this whole thing. Maybe he did something bad, maybe it's his fault, and then he runs into this lady that tells him, you need to accept Lord Jesus into your life. And I think this prayer is the one that happens at the beginning of Shireen, aka Master Splinter's daughter. But here now we know where the prayer comes from, and it comes from this lady that told it to Kendrick. And it's just so good every single time. It's so powerful. I consider this one to be the best out of the voicemails. Then number 2 is the one at the end of Shireen, and then number 3 is when his homie gets shot. I think those are the top 3 voicemail scenarios that happen in this album. Let's talk about the song Real now. Not real now, Real. This song is maybe banger. I like the song, I like the vibe, I like the hook. It drags on for a little bit. I think I'm real, I'm real, I'm really, really real. It goes for like 5 or 6 times into a 7-minute song. And it's the only thing that the song has got going on for it. So the song is a little bit too long. Maybe the song would have been 4 or 5 minutes, it would have been a banger, but the song just drags on. Something that it's also really good about the song, that it's also a maybe banger, is the scenario that happens. I think Kendrick's dad calls him and tells him, like, anybody can kill a man, but like you, like being like the real thing is that you need to live your life, is caring for your family. Real is God, real is responsibility. So we understand that it is. I think his family also understands Kendrick is gonna go and try to find the killer and kill them, and his family is trying to tell him, don't do that, you're going to become like the killer, and we don't want that for you. Also at the end it says, like, the mom is like, let him know you was just like them, but you still rose from a dark place of violence. And this is also very powerful. The mom is trying to say, like, you can rise above it all, and then you're gonna come and like, and it's like, when you do, give it back with your words of encouragement, and that's the best way to give back to your city. It's like, and I love you, Kendrick. If I don't hear you knocking on the door, you know where I usually leave the key. All right. I mean, I'm getting emotional just like listening. It is. It's very powerful, and there's a lot of there's a lot of things that Kendrick had to go through in his head to process his emotions, to get to the place that his family is hoping he gets to, and to help other people that are in similar situations from the one that Kendrick came from. So this song, as it mentions it, as the title of this song is talking about real things, which are very powerful. The song and the music in itself is not a banger, but like I said, the song overall is a maybe banger. So great song overall. I think so far we've only had one terrible song and then one bad song. Let's talk about now the very last song in the album, Compton. Now, this song is just bad. I don't mean to end on a bad note for this album, but the Compton song is bad. It's not terrible. I think like I can see what they were going for musically, but it just doesn't hit. The hook that goes, Compton, Compton, ain't no city quite like mine. It doesn't hit. It's just, I can remember it, but musically it just doesn't do it for me. It's bad. Like the execution of it is bad. It has a more cheery vibe, but also I think he wants to end on a good note about like, hey, I know that all of this happens in my city, but ain't no city quite like mine. There's a charm to it that is hard to appreciate if you're looking at it from the outside. So on that aspect, great song and great message. On the music side, it just doesn't do it. I am sorry to say, but Compton is just a bad song musically. Um, I do like at the end of the song, and I think the end of the song makes it. It's good but forgettable. Uh, but like the voicemail, the scenario where the guy goes like, "Mom, I'm finna use the van real quick. Be back. 15 minutes." It pretty much tells us what happened with Kendrick at the beginning of the track, right? Kendrick left. He said he was gonna be out 15 minutes, and then uh, everything that just happened. I don't think that at the end of the track of Compton, I don't think that was Kendrick. I feel maybe it is, but I mean, I think in the story it's just another kid that is going to use their mother's car and gonna be out 15 minutes, and is gonna go through this entire process, and it's a cycle that it repeats, and it's wholesome, it's charming, it is enticing. There's an adventure that we know it's about to happen because we just experienced it, but now it's gonna happen to somebody else. And I think that's kind of where the album and the messages, the Good Kid, M.A.A.d City album, there's good people overall in this place in the world, but they're just coming from a very crazy M.A.A.d City place. So it is. Let's talk about my favorite track in the album, which is I'm going to be telling you, which is Backseat Freestyle. Worst song in the album is Sing About Me, I'm Dying of Thirst. And the overall rating for this album is a banger every single day of the week. The album has so much charm, so much culture, so much adventure, so many. It's not my memories, but I can almost place myself in every single scenario that happens. So there's a sense of nostalgia, even though it's not me. It's really good how Kendrick executed every single one of these things. I think every single song is saying something powerful. The songs that are saying powerful stuff that I gave them a bad rating is because they violated the principle that music needs to be universal. That means that if, in order for me to appreciate the song, I need to learn how to speak English, then people that don't speak English are likely, I think they're likely going to agree with me. They won't be listening to the tracks because they don't know what's being said. So I think that's why I think it was Good Kid. It was I'm Dying of Thirst, or Sing About Me, I'm Dying of Thirst, and Compton. They're saying powerful stuff, but it's also, you have to learn English in order to appreciate it. The other ones that don't stick all that much is Shireen, aka Master Splinter's daughter, just not memorable. And I also think The Art of Peer Pressure, not memorable at all, but they are good tracks. Amazing album, just a banger. I'm very glad that I went through it. It's a very long video that I just went through, and it's because I think this album deserves the respect. Every single day of the week, this album, I will be going into the nostalgia and the entire adventure and everything that's going to happen. And listening to individual tracks doesn't do it justice. So it is something that I'm like, oh, you know what I'm feeling like listening to right now? Kendrick Lamar, Good Kid, M.A.A.d City. Because I think I'm likely to think that in the future, knowing how good this album is. Like I said, this is a banger every single time. Let's talk about the popularity of the songs. I have them right here. Number 1 is Money Trees, 1.6 billion plays on Spotify. 1.6 billion. Like the second song, best song, is M.A.A.d City with not even 800 million. So Money Trees has twice as much plays as the second most popular song in this album. And Money Trees is a really good song. I said It's just every single time it hits. It's not my favorite, but I can also see why some people would enjoy it more than Backseat Freestyle. Backseat Freestyle just is very high energy. You need to really be in a mood for that. While Money Trees, I think it fits every single mood, no matter what it is. Whether you're sad, happy, wanting to chill, wanting to get amped up, it's just a good song for overall all of those things. So I can see why it's 1.6 billion plays on Spotify. Second song is Mad City, 785 million plays. Great song, like I said. It's actually two songs in one that are just great songs. Then we have Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe at 783 million. So very very close. I guess Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe is the one that to me is like, it doesn't hit every single time, but I guess people do really like it. We have after that Poetic Justice at 577 million. And that's funny, I didn't think Poetic Justice was that good. That was number 4. Poetic Justice is a good but forgettable song. What happened to Backseat Freestyle? People are not listening to Backseat Freestyle, even though it's my favorite song. That's a shame. I think this happened also in my previous review, that my favorite song is not number 1 in the album. So maybe have a niche sort of taste for favorite songs. Poetic Justice, 577 million plays, so that's number 4. Then we have number 5, Swimming Pools at 494 million. So that's already 5 songs, and there's no Backseat Freestyle. All of the songs are great, by the way. So far people are agreeing with the same things that I agree with. And then number 6, we have Backseat Freestyle with 440 million plays. So yeah, it's a 6th most played song. To me, that's number 1. I think Money Trees could be a close second, but just close, but I don't think quite there. At least for my taste in music. I like high energy. Let's go with the second half of the album, which, wow, the plays already go down significantly. We have The Art of Peer Pressure at 129 million. So Backseat Freestyle had 437. And then it's not The Art of Peer Pressure, it's Sing About Me. Sing About Me has 195 million. So at least 200 million plays less than the 6th best song. And Sing About Me to me was the worst song of the album. I guess people here at 7th best song or 7th worst song, or no, 5th worst song. So people still rated it low, not as low as I did. It's a 12-minute song, and actually I don't think people are rating it that, but they are listening to it quite a lot. 12 minutes, and it sits at 7th place. So yeah, I guess there's some enjoyment for that track. It's not for me, as we talked about. And then at number 8, we have The Art of Peer Pressure, which is 129 million plays. The Art of Peer Pressure, I gave it an A rating. Not a bad song, just a background lo-fi elevator track music. It's not really lo-fi, I just say lo-fi because usually that's what I put on the background when I just want to think about nothing. My voice is going off. I've been talking for very long. I think this video is close to 2 hours on recording. Maybe the edited version would be closer to an hour. Then at number 9, we have Good Kid. Good Kid is 106 million views or million plays, which I determined to be a bad song. So again, it's at the bottom part, like Dying of Thirst, Good Kid, they're at the bottom half, so people like these songs less. Similar to me, not exactly the same. I guess more people like Sing About Me, I'm Dying of Thirst than I do. And then Good Kid at 105 million plays It sits at number 9. Let's go with number 10, which is Compton. Compton only being played 88 million times. And yeah, it's a bad song. It's a number 10. It's not the worst song either. My top 3 worst songs are Sing About Me, Compton, and then Good Kid. So here Compton sits at number 10. So third worst song. Number 11, it's Real at 85 million plays, and that's surprising to me. Real, I thought, was a maybe banger from my end, and I'm not really sure why it's so low here. Worse than Compton, worse than Good Kid. I don't know, and maybe this is a thing. If this album, I'm assuming that this album was huge when it came out. I mean, 1.6 billion plays for Money Trees means that a lot of people are listening to this album. Now, if you heard my past review, the most popular track had 120 million listens, the most popular track. And here, like the third worst song in the album has already 129 million plays, more than my previous review. So this album, one of its worst songs, is equal to the most popular track of the previous album that I rated. So this album, in my mind, must have been huge, incredible by the time it came out. So I don't know if the song Real perhaps there's another version that maybe has more listens, and if I added that version with this one, maybe it adds up to more plays, because it is surprising to me, but I'm just making stuff up in my mind. If that's not the case, I just don't know why people would think that Real is the second worst song in this album. And then we have the worst song is Shireen, aka Master Splinter's daughter, which is a little surprising, or I guess not that I think about it. Now that I think about it, it's not that surprising. It's just not memorable. The most memorable part of the song is the voicemail at the end. There's no hook. There's nothing memorable at the song. So people are just like, okay, that's the song. Let's skip it right away. Let's go into what's really good in this album. So yeah, that's it. I finally did it. Good Kid, Mad City album, long review. There's a lot to cover in this album. I think the recording, yeah, it's close. It's over 2 hours long right now. My voice is gone. I'm going to be, my throat is gonna hurt all day long. But yeah, I needed to talk about it, needed to make this video finally for my brother, who has been asking for this video for almost a month. I love the album. Great, just a banger every single time. I'm actually feeling like I'm about to go cook something, and I think it's time to go listen to this album while I do that, because it's that good. You can just listen to it any single time, for any reason at all. It's just amazing. Yeah, let's see. I hope that you guys enjoyed this review. Very thorough. I try to go through every single track and give it justice, and do it justice. Like I said, I listened to the album a total of 6 times. Maybe now I'm going to listen a 7th time. And I've listened to some of the tracks every now and then, not to the entire album, but overall amazing. I'm gonna be updating my playlist for Banger, Maybe Banger, and all of those, and I'm gonna be placing all of the tracks on how I rated them into every single one of those playlists. And I'll see you in the next review. Peace.